We're missing Nathan and Moza. Is that it?
Nathan, Moza, Nabla, sorry. Adnan. Adnan,
I see Adnan, don't worry. Oh yes. No, Turkey's okay. Turkey's okay. Alright. Listen up. Listen. So, two things before we start. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through the Exemplar Exam. I told you that you should have tried this over the weekend so you can see how you did, and then I'm going to do the answers now. There should still be time this week to do one more exam, okay? But anyways, the answers are on Moodle, the solutions. So the reason I'm doing this is to give you a chance to ask questions as well. That's the first thing. The second thing is my throat is quite sore and I'm sick. So I'm telling you now, I'm telling you now, if anybody makes me repeat myself, you are immediately leaving the room. Understand? Yeah, and if anybody feels like they can't cope with this, maybe you should leave now then, okay? Alright, so let's have a look at the Exemplar Exam. You should all have a copy of it, yeah? Okay, so, A1 now. 3x plus y minus 1 equals 0. And we're looking for the line which is parallel to this and contains the point 79. So the first thing I should do, I should rearrange this to get the slope. So I have y equals minus 3x plus 1. So m equals minus 3. So now I have y equals mx plus c. I can use this for my c. 9 equals minus 21 plus c. So that makes c equal to 30. So I have y equals minus 3x plus 30. A very standard, usual question here. Nothing peculiar at all. Okay, so write this one down. If you did do this one, check to see if you got it right. This one was 3 marks. Okay. I should also say this practice exam was written by NCUK. However, I'm writing your exam for after the break, but they'll all be very similar. There'll be the 10 questions in section A and then the 6 questions in section B. Okay, so number 2 now. A2. A bag holds 4 red and 5 green beads. 2 beads are drawn one after another. Find the probability that they're both the same color. So we draw a bead, then we can draw another bead. So our choices are, first we can get red or green, and then secondly we could get red or green. Red or green. And we start here. So this would be 4 over 9, and this one here would be 3 over 8. And this one would be 5 over 9, and then 4 over 8. I don't actually care about the other ones because the question is what's the probability of getting the same color twice? So that's getting a red and a red, and a green and a green. Huh?
4 over 8?
Yeah. Because here, one green ball has been taken out, so there's only 4 left, and there's 8 in the bag. So this one is 12 over 72, and this one is 20 over, is that right? 20 over 72, and when you add them together, you get, what's that, 32 over 72. Simplifies to 4 over 9? Okay. So the answer is 4 over 9. Now, when you think about it, that question was 4 marks. Pretty good for 4 marks. Most of the marks are going for the correct probability tree. Okay, write that one down. You got that one? And we'll have a look at A3 now. Okay, can I scroll down? Yeah. So A3. We have this quadratic, 3x squared equals 7x minus 3. What have we got here? We just have to use the quadratic formula. A equals 3, B equals minus 7, C equals 3. So x equals minus b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's 7 plus or minus square root, that's 49 minus 36, isn't it? 13. That's nice. It's 7 over 6 plus or minus 1 over 6 root 13. No, you don't. But the reason I did this is because in some questions they actually say to express your answer in this form.
What would they say? How would they say it?
They'd say literally express the answer in this form, and they would write A plus or minus B root C. Okay, so far we have 11 marks complete. Not too difficult. Although the next one, A4, is getting a bit trickier now. Can I scroll down to A4? Yeah. Yes? Yeah, okay. A4. Write down the first 4 terms for this expansion. So the first one will be 8c0, 2 minus 5x, plus 8c1, 2 minus 5x, plus 8c2, 2 minus 5x, plus 8c3, 2 minus 5x, plus that. This will have to be 0, 1, 2, 3. And what's here? Be careful. 8, 7, 6, and 5. Right, so the next step is really just using your calculator. It's a bit of a nuisance, but let's do it. 8c0 times 2 power 8 times, 256. And then, you have it done already? Yeah. But do you have it done already? Yeah, 256 minus 5120. Okay. X. And then the next one? 48 44 8 800. Yeah, okay. X squared. And then finally 224 000 x cubed. Thank you. So we get these just from the calculator then. So it's not hard, it's just this one takes a bit of time. It's really off. Okay. Let's have a look at A5 then. Yeah. I can't see how I could simplify this anymore though. Do you know what I mean? What did you do next? 256 goes into everything, yeah. I think what they meant by writing in its simplest form is they didn't want you to stop here. Although this line is right, they wanted you to calculate each term. So I think this, although maybe it's not clear, this is what they meant by its simplest form. But you're saying you can factor out 256? Okay. That won't be a problem, you just did one extra step. Yeah. Okay, A5 now. Now, A5 is actually a little bit of a sneaky question. So you'll have to watch A5 quite carefully. You could use logs. Yeah, logs and e's have to come into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I do A5 now? Yeah. So please watch A5 carefully. It's a bit sneaky. We have y equals 2x. So you should change this into e log 2 x, which is e 0.69 x. And then the second one, y equals 1 over 2 x equals 2 to the minus x, which will be the same idea basically. E log 2 to the minus x, which will be e minus 0.69x. So this question was a very sneaky way of asking you to draw this and to draw this. And if you remember, in this lesson we did in class, you learned how to convert this into this form. And that's also something similar to what you did in the coursework. So this one was quite sneaky, but not so difficult.
But how, I mean,
It wasn't that difficult though.
it's easy, but how do we know what to do? I mean, what's the clue here?
The clue is,
Like the power. The clue.
well, I suppose the clue is, yes, the power, but we've never actually, if you think about what we've done in class, we've learned how to plot linear, yes?
Yeah.
We've learned how to plot quadratic, cubic, what else? Sine, cos, and tan, exponential, and log. So when you look at 2 power x, it's not this. It's going to be coming from these lessons. In fact, it's coming from this lesson, where we learned how to plot these. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but in this first one here, this one here, the A is positive and the B is positive. So the graph looks like this. And in fact, this point here, when x is 0, 2 power 0 is 1. And then this one here, when x is 0, when x is 0 you also get 1, but the difference here is A is positive and B is negative. Do you remember the shape here? It's similar. It's decreasing. It's the other flipped around that way. So the graph looks like this then. So like I said, that was kind of a tricky question, especially for only 3 marks. Yeah. Say again? You just knew the shape of 2 to the power of x graph? You put in points. Yep, acceptable. Longer, but it gets you the right answer. Yeah? Another question?
Yeah, but how did you get the intersection point?
Yeah, I just put x is 0. It's not the intersection point. I know it is the intersection point, but the question wanted to know where it crosses the y-axis. So that's when x is 0. It just happened to be the intersection point as well. Is that okay for A5? Okay, A6 now. We have a triangle. This side is 40. This side is 63. And this side here is, no, this side here is 15. And what do we want? Find HC, find this side and the area. Well, we know what this one is. It's 180 minus 40 minus 63, so that's 77. Should I use the sine or cosine rule?
Here?
Here, yeah. Sine rule. So you can say, let's see, x over sine 63 equals 15 over sine 40. So no problem there. Yeah.
Then now A6 and my question further.
It's they weren't stapled together. If you don't have them, where did the pile of
A6, A7, A8. Wait.
was it literally on the opposite side of the page you were looking at?
Well, I didn't know that you could do both pages.
Okay, but maybe you could have checked before asking. Alright, whatever.
So the sine rule, you could use it even if it's not a right triangle? Like
Yes.
this one?
Yes.
Sorry for bothering.
Which
No.
one is the one that you...
I'm glad you feel comfortable to ask me questions. Yes?
Which one is the one that you only use with the right triangle again?
Regular sine, cos and tan. Yeah. What did we get for x? 2792 basically, yeah. And then the area is a half 15, 20.792 sine 77. So a half times 15 times answer times sine 77. Now please be careful. Oh no, it doesn't say to round here. 152, and this one here would be then 20.8 then. Now we should not forget our units. This one here, centimeters squared. Okay, let's have a look at A7 now. A7. Yeah? Now, what mode should your calculator be in? Radians. The derivative here, 15x squared plus cos x minus 1 over x. And we want the derivative for 0.2. So, if I put in 0.2, now please note the question says very clearly 3 significant figures, and you get 1 mark for doing that part correctly. So here the answer is minus 3.42. Yeah? Is that what you got? No, yes. Yeah. Now when you think about it, this one, just like question number 2, I feel is probably has more marks than it should, because if you see here, this is a 5-mark question, which really I think is too much because there was very little done here. Okay, so I often find the calculus questions quite high on the marks. Okay, A8. The curve here It's to complete the square with a sketch. So, completing the square, this will be x minus 5 squared plus 2. So the turning point is at 5, 2. So a very quick sketch here. There's x, there's y, there's 27, and then 5, 2, whatever is there. And it's going to be a U shape. And this is the point here, 5, 2. And this is the point 0, 27. And there you go. So that's 4 more marks. Okay, write that one down. And then we'll have a look at 9. Okay, scroll down. Not yet.
These are simple. They're going to be simple on the exam. First question.
What type of answer would you like?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, can I continue? Sorry, Tron, you have this? Yep. Okay. A9. Integrate 3 minus 3 over t plus 3t minus 2 minus t squared over 3 dt. This equals 3t minus 3 log t plus 3t minus 1 over minus 1. That's cubed over 9, isn't it? Plus c. So that's the answer. 3t minus 3 log t minus 3 over t minus t cubed over 9 plus c. Yeah, did you get that as well? You have this? Yeah. Okay. 10. A little tricky, but not too bad actually. Here you're told when you integrate from 0 to a, 2x minus 3 dx, the answer should be 28. So that means x squared minus 3x, that's the integration, from 0 to a should be 28. That means a squared minus 3a minus 0 minus 0 should equal 28. A squared minus 3a minus 28 should equal 0. Is it going to have roots? Let me see. 7 and 4? Okay, so a minus 7, a plus 4 equals 0. So we have a equals minus 4 or 7. Again, this one is 5 marks. Which I don't think is actually too bad for 5 marks. Okay. Okay, can we have a look at section B now? Yeah. Yeah. Now, just before I start, I should say section A would be about the same difficulty as what you would get in a real exam, but whoever made this exam, I feel like they made the B1 question a little easier than normal. So, just so you know that this B1 I think is actually probably the easiest B1 I've seen, especially the start with the two inequalities. Yeah. Let's have a look. Okay. Well, the first one is very easy.
Yeah.
This one here. 5 minus 4.
0.5.
Yeah. 1 less than or equal to 2x. So x has to be bigger than a half. Okay. And part 2. Now please be careful. It's easy, but you can screw it up.
Yeah.
So this is x squared minus 4 greater than 0. This is x plus 2, x minus 2 greater than 0. Or, if you didn't know that, you could use the quadratic formula. A equals 1, B equals 0, C equals minus 4.
Just root it.
This is the instinct a lot of students would have here to root both sides.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for these. You have to make it a quadratic.
I mean, like, root it and then write plus or minus.
That's true, but it's likely that students will make a mistake on the choice of the sign here. It is plus or minus 4,
Yeah.
but it's not clear which way the sign should be if you do it this way. This is why I prefer using the graph. So this is minus 2, this is 2. Do I want above or below?
Above.
So I want... Yeah, how do we know if this part here... Yeah. Bigger than 0 is above and less than 0 is below. So, what's the answer here? X must be less than minus 2 or greater than 2. Abdullah, if you just do the root 4 here, you don't know which way around to put these.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Okay, so write that one down. Okay.
If you use root, you could find.
You're going to get confused.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Okay. Last year, when I gave students this question to do, a lot of them made a very common mistake here. And in fact, all of you made the same mistake in the mid-semester exam I gave you. This question wanted the remainder when you divide by x minus 2. And a lot of people divided by x minus 2 and got the remainder. But don't forget, we have the remainder theorem here. We can get the remainder by simply replacing x with 2.
Yeah, but I divided.
You should get the same answer.
I got the answer, but I was still wrong.
Then you made a mistake in the division. This is 2 cubed plus 2 squared minus 2 minus 2. This is 8 plus 8 minus 4, isn't it? 16 minus 4, 12. Yep. Now in part 2 they actually ask you to do a division, this time x plus 2.
Divide x by x plus 2.
X plus 2. Yep. So, first will be x squared, and this will be x cubed plus 2x squared. Subtracting actually cancels both, which is useful because it means we get finished sooner. The next one here has to be minus 1. You're left with minus x minus 2, 0. So, that's done.
Square minus 1.
X squared minus 1, yeah. So now, for part 3, you have x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2 equals x plus 2 x squared minus 1,
Yeah.
which equals x plus 2 x plus 1 x minus 1.
So that's the factorizing part?
Yeah. Say again? Oh no. Are you saying if you just gave this? That would be okay here. Yeah.
That's too easy.
How many marks is that? It was only 2 marks though. The reason I did write this here is because sometimes this quadratic doesn't have factors and actually you have to stop here. So I didn't, well I knew it would have factors, but I think it's good to do this first because you can't always guarantee that this has factors then. Sometimes in the exam it doesn't actually. Not here because they wouldn't have asked you to factorize it then. Okay, can we look at the last part here, C? So what lesson is this one coming from? Yeah, but a very particular lesson. Which one was it? Do you remember the name of it? It's not degree 2 system. It was the one later.
No, that was degree 2.
This isn't degree 2. Degree 2 is when they're both linear. This is one linear and one quadratic.
Oh.
Yes. Now, what's nice here is that they've already given you the y. So it's ready for you to put in. Yeah. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 3x minus 2y equals 9. X squared plus x squared minus 8x plus 16 minus 3x minus 2x plus 8 equals 9. 2x squared, what's that? Minus 13x? 16 plus 8 is 24 minus 9 is 15. Does this have factors? I think it might. 2x, x, 5 and 3. Minus and minus.
Yeah, but how are we going to get a negative 13 from minus 2?
Minus 3, minus 10.
Oh.
So, here we have x equals 3 over 2, x equals 5, and we can use this here to get the y, is x minus 4. So, 1.5 minus 4, what's minus 5 over 2?
5.
And 1. First answer, second answer. Again, it's not really that bad for 5 marks, you know. Okay, let's see what's next now. Can I just... It's a good question. It is. Yeah, the exam is badly formatted. The B2 is at the bottom of the page 5.
Oh.
So, page 6 is the start of B2. No, they do, but they screwed it up. You see, it's printed at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we look now at
That's more
B2? Huh?
That's an orphan there.
What?
I just said that's an orphan there.
Yes, it is, yes. No, that's the right term for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right, B2. The probability that it rains on Monday is 0.4. If it rains on Monday, the probability it rains on Tuesday is 0.3. Okay, so we start, and it could rain on Monday, or not rain on Monday, rain on Tuesday, not rain on Tuesday, rain on Tuesday, not rain on Tuesday. The probability it rains on Monday is 0.4, so this one here, 0.6. If it rains on Monday, the probability it rains on Tuesday is 0.3, so this has to be 0.7, If it's dry on Monday, then the probability it's dry on Tuesday is 0.8, so this has to be 0.2. This is part 1 done. Part 2, find the probability that it's dry on both days. It's quite strange because you had a question like this already in section A. That's rain, rain, and not rain, not rain. So it's 0.4 times 0.3. Yep. It's
0.6.
Oh, it's even less than what I'm doing. It's just dry on both days. So that's 0.6, 0.8, what's that, 0.48? Quite doable. Okay, B part now. Can I scroll down now? Yes? B. In an arithmetic progression, the third term is 17 and the fourth term is 13. Find the first term and the common difference. Well, you can almost see what the common difference is already. It's going to be -5 because the third and the fourth term are neighbours. So, sorry, -4 then. But anyways, if we write it out the proper way, it's A plus 2D equals 17. And A plus 3D equals 13. Subtracting the bottom from the top, is that right? Yes, -4. And then if I sub that back in here, I get A minus 8 equals 17. So then 25, isn't it? Okay. Part 2, find the 48th term. So that's A plus n minus 1 D. So let me just type that in. 25 and then minus 163. Yeah? Find the sum of the first 36 terms. That's n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. Yeah. Is that minus 90? Minus 1, yeah, minus 1620 then. Okay. You have a geometric sequence. What's the A here? Are you? No, I just wanted to see how much I could do without using the calculator, that's all. No, you can jump straight to there, that's fine. A is 512, and the OR, is it a nice fraction? 7 over 8. Okay, now please watch this one carefully. We've seen this one in the other exam. The first term to fall below 1. So we want to know, when will un be less than 1? So that's when will a or n minus 1 be less than 1. So that's 512, 7 over 8, n minus 1 less than 1. So that's 7 over 8, n over 7 over 8, less than 1 over 512. So can you see I just brought this underneath and then I split this up into 2. The reason I did that was to make it a little bit easier for me to bring this now to the right. Okay, let's see what that fraction is. 7 over 8 power n less than 7 over 4096. What should I do next? Log both sides. That comes down. So I get n log 7 over 4096 over log 7 over 8. Now somebody tell me why I flipped my sign around.
Minus.
Yeah, what is though? I divided by a minus, but where's the minus? Log 7 over 8 is a negative number. Log of anything less than 1 is negative. You can check it on the calculator if you want. So let's see what we get here. N must be bigger than 47.7, so then what does n equal? Which is it? Is it 47 or 48? 48. Because when n is 47, it hasn't fallen below 1 yet. 48 is the first time it can be less than 1. At 47, you can check it, it won't be less than 1 at 47. And what's the A? 512 times power 47 minus 1. The 47th term is 1.1. The 48th term, however, is 0.96. So 48th term is the first term that falls below 1.
You did do math more?
Yep. There's enough or more? There.
Yeah. Hold that, huh?
It's a lot for 3 marks. And then the last part here, part 2, is the sum to infinity, which is just a over 1 minus or, which will be 512 over 1 minus 7/8. 1 minus 7/8 is 1/8, so it's just 512 times 8. Well, that's 4,096, isn't it? Yes. I didn't do that so quickly in my head. If you're wondering how I did that so quickly, it's 512 times 2 times 4. I know that one's 1,024. That's not so bad to multiply by 4. Yeah, no, I didn't do it like that.
Yeah, how do you do it?
512 times 2 times 4. That's 1,024 times 4. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Do you have this one? Yeah. Question B3 looks pretty good. Not as hard as B2. Let's have a look at it. Can I scroll down? The number of a certain type of fruit fly, n, is given by the formula AEKT. Initially, so that means when t is 0, n is 120. And then after 2 days, so when t is 2, n is 480. So we basically want to know what the a and the k is. Yeah, so we can substitute that in, and we get 120 equals AE0. So I already have the A now, and I can substitute that in, and I get N equals AEKT, 2K. Now, we divide by 120, is that 4? 4 equals E2K, what's next? Log both sides, log and e cancel, so you're left with log 2 squared equals 2k. What can I do with the 2 here? Bring it down, and then what can I do? Divide it. So I end up with k equals log 32. So I have the A and the K. And then the second part is how many... Oh! I shouldn't forget my units though. What's A? 120 fruit flies. So I'll just write FF. Sometimes in the marking scheme it will say units not necessary for full marks, but sometimes they will say 1 mark for the units. Now, the trigonometry question with the centimeters, you remember, they probably want the units to get the full marks there, but the person who writes this question doesn't understand how the units work here, so he doesn't ask for the units in the marking scheme here, which is good for you, but I'm being more particular about it. The A is 120 fruit flies if you want, because the A represents how many fruit flies you had at the beginning. But what's the K here? This one's a little bit harder, but not impossible. K equals log 2. Does anyone remember the unit here? What is it? Not fruit flies. Abdullah, you remembered this last time we did it, but you've forgotten now.
What?
You gave me the answer last time we had this question. The unit for the K. It's per day. Per day. The unit here is days. So the K is measured in per days.
I was meant the outside word.
Why did you put -1 again?
The reason is, can you look here carefully, please? If we're saying that the A holds the... Okay, we'll take it one step back. What's the unit for N? Fruit flies. And what are we saying the unit for A is? Fruit flies. So we're saying that the A holds the units. That means the units here, there shouldn't be any. They should be what we call dimension free, no units, because we already have our units in the A. Do you understand what I'm saying? That the A is holding the units for us. So this should have no units. So if the T is measured in days, then to cancel the units, what is required for the K? To be in per days. So that when they multiply together, there's no units left. So this has no units in total, which means the E and this power has no units, which is what you wanted. It's a little bit complicated, I know, but you can just remember it as whatever the time unit is. It's in per this time. Yeah, so if it was seconds, it'd be per seconds. If it was days, it's per days. Like I said, though, the person who wrote this practice exam doesn't understand how this works, so he doesn't ask for the mark here for this one, but he does understand how this one works, so he might ask for the mark here. I realise I'm not inspiring confidence in the system when I'm saying things like this, but I'm being honest with you. I won't tell you his name, but I know him.
You know him?
I know him.
Is it Mr. Stephen Bruce?
If Stephen Bruce put this exam together, it would actually quite impress me. For his level, I mean.
I'll tell him you said that.
Please do. Please do. It is. Okay. Right, so next we want the N after 5 days. So what's the A? 120. The K, we said is log 2. And the N is 5. It's 120 times 32, I think. Yeah? 12 times 320, whatever that is. 3840. And the unit? Fruit flies. Okay. Part B. 4n power 3/4. Oh, sorry, no, I didn't calculate the derivative yet, did I? Okay. dn dt, well, remember, n was equal to 120 e log 2t. So the derivative would be 120 log 2 e log 2t. And are we given a t? We are. So it's 120, 0.69. And what's the t? I'll put it in here. So this will work out to be 16. So now we have to make some choice on how to round here. I think the best we can do is round up then. But the unit. Oh, is it wrong? What's the answer? No, you can't. So you have to make a choice if you round up or if you round down. It's yeah, I know what you're saying, like, should we round up or should we round down? So you can't have a fraction of a fruit fry. So the question is, should we round down? The logic being that the next fly hasn't fully formed. So it's a bit like the question with the construction of the levels of the building. Or should we round up because the next value is closer to the estimate we have here? But in both cases I'd still give you the mark, because the only requirement in the marking scheme is that you're accurate to 3 significant figures. So if you went with this answer or this answer, because both of them lead with 133, you'd get full marks either way. What's the unit here though? Fruit flies per day. Yeah? Can I scroll down? Yep. Question? B part 1. 4n power 3/4 equals 5n power 1/2. Oh, sorry, that's multiply. Equals 4860. I can say this is 20 times, now 3/4 plus 1/2, what's that, 1 1/4? Isn't it? Yeah, so this would be 5/4? Yeah, 5/4 equals 4860. So n and 5/4 equals 4860 divided by 20. So that cancels, what's that, 243, isn't it? N and 5/4. Now you have two choices here. You can use powers or you can use logs to complete this. I think powers is the easiest thing. You should put a power 4/5 here. And the reason is these will cancel. So you're left with n equals 243 power 4/5. Now sometimes they ask for the exact answer. So sometimes it's okay to leave the answer like this, but let's see what fraction I get. Oh nice, it's not a fraction, it's exact anyway. So n equals 81. Now, you might be wondering, Well, what about issues to do with positive or negative? But at the very start of the question, I could have and should have said n should be positive. What's the reason for that? Well, the reason is this here is actually the same as what? What's this the same as? Square root n. And n has to be positive for this equation to be defined. So I knew from the beginning I knew that I should have only positive answers at the end. Okay? Right, let's have a look at the log part. 2 log 8 x minus 4 equals 2. X should be bigger than 4. Why am I saying that? Yeah. So, you can see x should be 12, isn't it? Because when you look at this, you can see that it's the same as saying log 8 x minus 4 equals 1. So you could almost do this in your head. The only way it works is if you have log 8 equals 1. Anyways, doing it properly, 8 to the power of 1 should equal x minus 4, so x should equal 12. That's the answer. Did they do it this way in the marking scheme, or did they do something stupid like bring the 2 up to the power and square it? Oh, sorry, did you do it that way? Did you do that? The reason I'm saying it's stupid is because there was an opportunity at the beginning to cancel the 2. No need to make a quadratic. What did they do in the marking scheme? Do you have it there? Do you have the marking scheme handy?
Is it on order?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get it.
Did they square? Foolish. Yeah, the person who wrote this question again screwed up because they didn't realize you could do it a much easier way.
You probably hit the person who
Hate's such a strong word. Question would be another way of putting it. Yeah, because it'll produce a negative one. How many marks is this? 4. I know what he was trying to do when he made the question. He was trying to make a log question that would produce a quadratic, but the way he made the question was such that you didn't require to use a quadratic. Okay, can we look at B4 now? This first one is easy. What happens when you integrate cos x? Sin x. Sin pi minus sin 0. Sin pi is 0, isn't it? What does your answer indicate? Well, it indicates that the amount of area above the axis equals the amount that's below. It's the only way to cancel it. So the answer will be cos x from 0 to pi is half above and half below the x-axis. Okay. What rule do you need for that triangle? Hey, no touching other students in class, please. Thank you.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, no touching. No touching. Cosine rule. Yes. About this one? Yeah. Yeah, that's the same meaning as half above, half below. Equal areas above and below, is it? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so here, which angle do they want? This angle here, which we'll call P, is it? Okay, so what rule? Cosine rule. So, 15 squared equals 12 squared plus 14 squared minus twice 12, 14 cos P. So, 15 squared minus 12 squared minus 14 squared divided by minus 2 divided by 12 divided by 14. So, after you rearrange it, you'll get cos P is 115 over 336. Do they care if it's degrees or radians? They specify or they don't care? They don't specify. So, if you gave your answers as radians, that would actually be fine. Cos inverse this. So, as a degree, what did you get? 70 degrees, yeah? In radians, yeah? In the marking scheme, yeah. Now, find the shortest distance from the point Q to PR. So what they want is the distance here if you were to make it perpendicular, like that. So what you can do is, if you look at this triangle and draw it again on the side, if you can imagine me rotating it, like this. This side will be 12, this one we don't actually know. I know it could be 7, but it won't actually split it in half. This angle we know is 90, but the P, which would be here, is 70. And in fact, it's this side here is what they want. So what rule could I use there? Yeah, I could just say sine 70 equals h over 12, so h equals 12 sine 70. So 12 sine 70 is 11.3 centimeters. Okay. Alright, can we look at C? Focus, please, focus.
Can't you tell me from where? It's even easy.
Dublin. Dublin. It's a small county. Alright, can I scroll down? What?
We're a small county, y'all. Cowboys and stuff.
What the hell? Yeah, we're in Dublin.
Dublin. Okay, continuing. So the next one is a trigonometry equation. Tan 2 theta equals minus 1 over root 3, 0 to 2 pi, and it's in radians. So if Vanjula was here, she'd want to use the circle, as some other people saw, but not this way. Like I said, I like doing it in these steps here. So the first one is the I, which is the inverse. So what's tan inverse minus 1 over root 3? Focus. 2 theta equals minus pi over 6. How do we get the second answer for tan? Plus pi. Could you wake him up? You're awake, yes? Yeah. You're good. You were just concentrating so deeply you fell asleep. 5 over 6 pi. Is that right? Yeah. Right. How many extra answers should I have? 2. And how do I make those extra answers? You add 2 pi, and then I just did that one because it was on the calculator. And if I add 2 pi to that, what's that? 11 over 6 pi. Right. How do I simplify here? Divide by 2. And then finally, how do I fix? Or which ones require fixing? The first one by adding 2 pi. So that's 23 over 12 pi. 5 over 12 pi. 11 over 12 pi. 17 over 12 pi. This is the answer here. Okay, can I do the D part now? Much easier than the circle, right? Yeah. Do you do it this way? Yeah. Did she use the circle?
No, I think the circle is much easier.
No, I think it's much more different. I mean, this is like
Step 1, 2, 3, 4 done.
The circle you have like draw it and like put the feature.
And you have to think about it. And students don't like thinking. I know this. Yeah. Okay, can I have a look at D now? Yep.
Are we done? How many questions are there?
6. So do you know, I think we might get them all done, which would be great. Okay, D now. Sine A equals 9 over 41. Find cos A. How will we find cos A here? You have 2 ways to do it actually. You could draw the triangle, or you could use the formula sine squared A plus cos squared A equals 1. What way did people do it? Just draw a triangle? Yeah. So if that's A, that's 9, that's 41. So from Pythagoras, is it a nice number here? 40. So then cos A would equal 40 over 41.
Maybe the other one.
The other way. So the other way to do it, the other way to do it is sine squared A plus cos squared A equals 1. So cos squared A equals plus or minus the square root of 1 minus sine squared A, which will equal plus or minus 40 over 41. So the only problem with this method is that you have to make a choice which is the right one, the plus or the minus. And this is something which we haven't talked about. And the only way to resolve it is with the circle. So, what's happening here, they tell you in the question that the angle is acute. Do they? Yeah, it's acute, which means it's in the first quadrant. Everything is positive in the first quadrant. Sine and cos are both positive in the first quadrant. So that means you must reject the negative answer, because if it's in the first quadrant, the cos can't be negative. So we reject the minus 40 over 41 and just take the positive answer then. Okay, let's have a look at B5 now. B5? A farmer has 80 meters of fencing and wishes to make a rectangular pen with X meters as shown. Right, so write down the area. So if this is X and this is Y and this is X, you know that X plus Y plus X should equal 80. Does anybody remember the name of this equation? No? It's called the Constraint Equation. It's a bit like you know, where in the can of Coke question, we have the can of Coke needs to be 330 centimeters cubed. It's the thing that's limiting us here. So here we have 2x plus 2y equals 80. So x plus y equals 40. So y equals 40 minus x. The area equals xy, which will equal x by 40 minus x. So that answers the first part. The second part is find the maximum area. So the area equals 40x minus x squared. How do I find the maximum? Well, that's with a derivative, which will be 40 minus 2x, which equals 0. So that means x should equal 20, which makes y equal to 20, which makes the area equal to 400 meters squared. If we calculate the second derivative, we get minus 2, which is less than 0, which makes it a maximum. I've accidentally done the rest of the question here, part 2, 3, and 4. So that was part 2, part 3, and part 4. So I'm already on to part B.
Nice.
This is an extremely easy B5 question. Yeah, I think it's so easy because the equation is only a quadratic. Show that it has only one stationary point. How do I find the stationary point? Yeah, which will be 3x squared minus 18x plus 27, which equals 0. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. Is that right? This is just x minus 3 squared. So it has only one stationary point, which is at 3, and then whatever happens when we put 3 in. 3 cubed minus 9 times 9 plus 27 times 3. What did you get? 4. Show this is a point of inflection. So the second derivative is 6x minus 18. When I put x equals 3 into this, what do I get? 0. Now, I really hope this is not the way it was done in the marking scheme. Can someone please check? It wasn't? Oh, thank goodness, because that would have been wrong. I don't know if you remember the table that I drew, but do you remember that when you have the first and second derivative equal to 0, then you have no information about the shape? Can I jog your memory? Do you remember I made this table? Whoops.
Yeah.
You remember this table? Yeah. And we were looking at the different possibilities. And the one that was in the middle was when the first derivative is 0 and the second derivative is 0. And in this situation, what do we know about the shape? Nothing. We don't know anything about the shape. Now, if you look here, the second derivative is 0, and also the first derivative. We know nothing about the shape. So, we haven't seen a question like this. It's not really supposed to come up in the exam. I don't see it on the syllabus, but he's asked it twice. Yeah.
About his second derivative is 2x.
He differentiated this, which is wrong because that's not the derivative. That's the derivative divided by 3. This is the derivative.
And then it shows it's equal to 0.
Yeah.
Changes the sign.
Wait, so he did do it this way. He said that the second derivative equals 0, which means that it shows that it's inflection point. Yeah? Yeah. You can, yeah. So you just get, but I mean it doesn't, the point is, it doesn't change the fact that the second derivative is 0 when x is 3. So in other words, to summarize, we have this situation. dy dx equals 0, and d2y dx squared equals 0. Now, normally this means an inflection point, but only if we know if this is positive or negative. So for example, if you remember, if this was positive, then it's increasing or decreasing? It's increasing. Yeah. And if you remember the second derivative, when it's 0, it's switching between being concave and convex. So if it's increasing and switching, I think it kind of has to look like something. I don't remember, something like this. Anyways, I gave you the table with all the different possibilities. But my point here is that in this situation, we don't know what it is. Yes? Now, I'll tell you what to do in this situation. The answer is wrong in the marking scheme. Can I give you a good example of why it's wrong? So, if you look at this graph, please, this is new content, please watch carefully. What's the derivative here? And if I want the turning point, what is x? 0. Yes? Now, let's calculate the second derivative at the turning point to see if it's a maximum or a minimum. So here this is 12x squared, and if I put x is 0, what do I get here? 0. So the first derivative is 0 and the second derivative is 0. But when you plot it, the graph looks like this. Oh, sorry. It's kind of like a quadratic. So is it an inflection point? Remember, inflection is when it switches between concave and convex. Is it an inflection point here?
No.
It's not. In fact, what type of point is it? It's a minimum point, isn't it? A turning point, a minimum point, yeah. So this is the point that I'm making. When the first and the second derivative is 0, you have no information about the shape. So, with that in mind, what is an alternative way we could figure out what the shape is at the point, what's the x value? 3. No, this is the turning point. It's the only point. Yeah. The only way to know what's happening is if you look at what's happening at the neighbours. 2, 341, and then 4. This would be enough. Oh, sorry, did I write 41 here?
Yeah.
Okay. 4. Can someone tell me what happens when you put in 2 and then I'll put in 3 on the calculator, but can you calculate, sorry, I'll put in 4, but if you can calculate what y is when x is 2, please. Oh, you done already? 3, is it? And can you tell me then what it is when you put in 4? 4 power 3 minus 9 times, what is it? 5, is it? Okay, so I think we have a good picture here. Is this an inflection point that's rising or falling? It's rising, isn't it? So, here is the point 2, 3, and it's an inflection point. So it's switching from being concave then to being convex. Yeah. This question was a very unfair question, and it's only 2 marks as well. Oh, and I've accidentally done the next part, which is the sketch it. Great. So we'll finish on B6 now.
And then, sir, I have some questions to ask you, like from previous be a second select X also in 5.
Tutorial. Can I look at
Oh, tomorrow.
tomorrow? Yeah. Can I go to B6 now? Oh yeah, there's a thing going on. Or later in the week. Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's very easy to get the y-intercept, so you just make x is 0. Yeah, my graph is really bad because it crosses the y at the negative, so it should be more like this. But you notice in the question, it didn't say draw the y-intercept, so did it specifically give a mark for the y-intercept? Like what did the marking scheme say?
D1 for correct shape.
Yeah.
D1 for 3, 4, and 0,
I'm going to interpret that as meaning he wants at least 2 points to draw the graph, but in fact I have 3 points. I should really have drawn the neighbouring points in as well. The 2 neighbours that we got. Okay, can I look at B6? Yep. Okay. Question? Alright, find the equation of the line AB. What type of line is AB, does it say? All lines are linear.
Straight.
Oh, it doesn't actually tell us. Oh wait, hang on, it gives us 2 points on it.
Yeah.
Alright, well this is,
Just do the
it's just easier, yeah. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Is that right? It'll be the same answer in the end. Did you get 2? 12 minus 4. Oh, sorry, I wrote my 2 and 6 backwards, didn't I? Minus 2? And what point will I use? Maybe I'll just use 212. 12 equals minus 4 plus c. C equals 16? Okay. Find the tangent at B. How can I find the tangent at B? Well, first I find the slope. How do I find the slope? dy dx. Which is 2x minus 10. But what's the x here? 6. 2. And what point should I use to find the c? 6, 4. 4 equals 12 plus c. C equals minus 8. So here we go. The tangent at B meets the x-axis at point x. Find x. So find where this crosses the x-axis. Well, you can almost see what it is. What's the x? 4. You make the y 0. So that's the answer for part 3. And then lastly, part 4 is find the area. Actually, this is a pretty easy one. It's the area between my first line and the curve. Yes? So, but the problem is, no. We know where these points are. Where does it begin? 2. And where does it end? 6. And what's the function that's on the top? Is it the line or is it the curve? It's the line. And what's the equation of this line? The original? Minus 2x plus 16? That's the line on the top. Minus x squared minus 10x plus 28 dx. This is very, very generous for 8 marks because all that you have to do now is integrate this quadratic. That's 10x minus 2x, 8x, 16 minus 28. Is that minus 12? Yes, is that right? Right. Minus x cubed over 3 minus 8x squared over 2 minus 12x 6 and 2. If I put in 6, what's that, 36, 6 cubed divided by 3, so that would be minus 72, that's actually a 4, that's 36 times 4, is that 144? Plus 144 minus 72 minus 8 over 3 for 16 minus 24, which is minus 72 plus 144 minus 72. Oh wait, this all cancels, doesn't it? So it's just left with 8 over 3 minus 8. Rats, I made a mistake because my answer is negative. Oh wait, it's minus here, isn't it? That makes plus. That's a plus 8. Right. 8 over 3 plus 8 is 32 over 3. Now, please note you can check the answer on the calculator, which you should do. So, yeah, but here, if I type this into the calculator, integrate from 2 to 6, bracket minus 2x plus 16, bracket minus bracket x squared minus 10x plus 28. So I'll leave the calculator to run for a minute there, and I get 32 over 3. So if this was an exam, I know I've definitely gotten my 8 marks. No. I'm sure if I look at the time for this video, it's probably only going to say something like 90 minutes. Let's have a look at the run-in time. It's not even 90 minutes, 1 hour and 27 minutes. And that,
Half an hour left.
yes, not only would we have half an hour left and 2 minutes, we've also done more questions than we need.
Oh, yeah.
Because how many do we need to do in section B?
4.
4, and I've done 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, now of course I know it won't be this quick because you were helping me with the calculator, but my point is, I know students sometimes feel rushed with this in the exam, with the 2 hours, but if you have been studying and you're focused, you realise, oh actually you do have enough time. It's the students who are not prepared that feel like they don't have enough time because they're thinking too much and too long about the questions, you know. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go through the next exam, which will be last year's exam, which will be version 1 of last year's exam. It's in the folder called like 2014 to 2015.
Yeah.
Now, please note, this exam was I believe the old syllabus, which means it will not have a question on probability, and it will have a question on a topic called matrices, which we haven't done. So when you're practicing this at home, just remember that, okay? We'll do the other questions, yeah?
Oh, that's new.
It's new for semester 1. It was always on the semester 2 exam. They've introduced some basic probability in semester 1 at the expense of removing matrices. The net result is to make the exam slightly easier because you're replacing matrices, which is a bit difficult, with basic probability, which is quite easy. So that's kind of good news for you then.
But I love matrices.
Huh?
I love matrices.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't. Yeah. Version 1 of the last year's exam. I'll just go through it again.
Now? Oh,
No, hang on. I'm trying to think.
you don't have time.
Yeah, right.
What was the last thing I said?
We're already done.
Don't do this. Don't do this. I will crack the screen on that phone. Don't show me the time on your phone. I know what time it is.
Oh.
I can tell the time. Yes?
Sorry.
It's okay. Now, as I was saying, I also want to make sure you have time to ask me questions if you've been doing revision. Notice the use of the word if. We have, our last class is on Thursday, isn't it? Is it a single or is it a double?
I think it's a double. No, it's a double. I have a
Single.
tutorial on math.
Anyways, my point is, oh, we have tutorial on,
I have a tutorial and I have a math class.
okay, so this is the plan, the tutorial, great,
Yeah, we have a double.
okay. Shh. Can you listen carefully, please? So this is our plan for this week. I don't think we have class tomorrow.
No.
So on Thursday we have one lecture and one tutorial. So what I want to do in the lecture, I won't have time to do all of that exam from last year. So it's important that you try it at home and then tell me which ones you want me to do in the class.
Okay.
Then the tutorial can be for whatever questions you might have from your revision. So if they are questions from the workbook, we'll do those. If they are questions from other exams you've tried, we'll do those. Okay? So tutorial is everything, but the lecture I'm only going to be looking at the exam from last year, whatever problem questions you had from it. But of course, this requires you to do it at home. Now, I don't think you have any coursework due this week.
No.
So the only excuse for not doing it is your laziness.
I
We did, I didn't do the biology this time.
Yeah, but for this week,
Yeah.
laziness it would be. Okay? Alright, we'll leave it there. I'll look about this later. I think it's something like revision number 4 or something at this point. Yep? Okay.